Good morning, everyone. This is Mr. Wayne once again, going to talk through with you about your weekly overview video on the different things that we're going to be doing this week and what some of your responsibilities will be on this kind of shortened week since we have Friday off. So, first things first, if you're viewing this video, that's awesome. That's going to be the first thing that you're going to be doing at home this week. But if you look at your checklist for this week, the other two things that you'll need to do at home, so for Monday, Tuesday, this falls on you, Packers. Thursday, Friday, that falls on you guys, the Austin group. But the other two things that you'll need to do is the graph analysis, which is going to be looking at a cross-section of a given particular layer of Earth, looking at fossils, looking at where these layers are, what contains them, what's within them, with a couple questions to follow that up. Basically following the rules of relative dating and using some of the concepts that you guys are going to be learning this week. The big thing, though, is down at the bottom, question number 6. It's going to be kind of a little bit of a challenge for you guys to see if you kind of use some of your critical thinking to kind of tell a story about what kind of environment you think these fossils fall in. The other thing that you'll be doing at home this week is the activity on the gizmo, which is looking at the concept of weathering, which is located on the right side here. This will go through your gizmo activity step by step, looking at a couple different pictures, a couple different activities that you're going to be participating in. But as you go through it, you're going to be filling it out, answering those questions, writing down a few notes, so on and so forth. So for folks that are at home, that's essentially it. It's kind of short, sweet, right to the point, nothing too tricky. All right, now for the folks that are going to be here in school this week, the 4 big things that we're going to be doing is on Monday and Tuesday, or Thursday, well, just Thursday for you Packer folks. We'll be doing Bellworks days 1 and 2. The first one involves a video looking at the relative rock dating rules and describing the analogy. And then Bellwork day number 2 is going on a couple different our website, which we are going to provide you a username and password, and completing one of the gizmos that it's located on that website. The second thing that we're going to be working on in class this week is the processing activity, or the notes and processing activity, which falls with the relative dating rules. Notes is going to be on this section here, where we're going to be talking about the different ideas, the different concepts, the different philosophies used to determine the age and relative dating ages of rocks in fossils contained within them. So this will be our notes that we're going to be filling out in class when you are here in school. And then your processing activity is going to be kind of a notes, activity, working item that we're going to work on in school here this week, which is going to focus primarily on using those relative and absolute dating rules that you guys are going to be learning about, and taking a look at some of these pictures and filling these in, actually determining what the age or relative age of these layers are. I will say that some of these are tricky at first, but once you get an idea of how these things fall into play, how they actually go, no pun intended, their relative sequence, this makes a lot of sense. Looking at what came first, what came second, what came third, all the way ultimately to what was the last thing that occurred in these puzzles. So this is going to be another thing that we're going to be doing in class this week, going through these, talking about how do we look at these layers, how do you determine them, in some of the key features and key identification markers for those. And then lastly, we have the lab, the daily grind. If you have already done that in your particular science section, that means you might be finishing this activity up, or if you haven't done it, we'll be starting that activity in class this week as well. The other thing that's on your checklist that you might have noticed is this warm-up puzzle relative dating. This is going to be something that you guys are going to be going through with your teacher to kind of review, to kind of warm up, and kind of work together as a whole class on determining the sequence of these layers of these puzzles. So, that's kind of a quick glance at the overview video for this week. Once again, if you just follow along with the checklist and help that or use that to keep you in order, you're going to be sitting in really good shape. The other two kind of important announcements for this week that you should be aware of is the first thing is you do have conferences this week. So it's either on Tuesday or Thursday you have conferences with your advisory. So make sure that you have things turned in. You're talking to your teachers that you might have missing assignments or assessments for, and trying to get those things tidied up before your conferences. The final thing is if you turn in any late work items, please email your teacher with the specific name of the item that you just turned in. As we have mentioned before, when you complete things on OneNote, it does not notify us. Therefore, we do not know if you have done it or not. We go through grading the first time, and then once we're done, we are not going to revisit that assignment unless you tell us you've completed it after the due date. So please make sure you email us when you complete something, either Schoology or OneNote. So just make sure you do that. Otherwise, we have no idea if you've turned something in or not. So hopefully this overview video will help. If you have any questions, once again, please reach out to your teachers, Mrs. Keefe, Mr. Fritz, or myself, and we'll be glad to help. Otherwise, have a great short week, and we'll see you in school or online.